This is the Kenya Animal Genetic Resources Center, which is located in Lower Kabete, and it mainly deals in germplasm production for purposes of distribution to the farming community. And it was established basically to have as one of the major resources for purposes of gene bank for conservation of animal resources. It was also mainly established for conservation of posterity and avail livestock tissues, DNA, semen, and embryos for all livestock and emerging livestock in Kenya. Also, it engages in strategic production and distribution of animal germplasm. Animal germplasm meaning semen and embryos, which mainly we do production either on the site in KAGRC or at the farmer's level. We also serve as a reference laboratory for certification testing of semen, embryos, and related livestock production materials for purpose of import and export. So in collaboration also with other institutions, we develop and produce chemicals and laboratory products for use in production of semen in the lab. And also we collaborate with other institutions to provide information on suitability and effectiveness of animal breeding products. We similarly do training, and this involves training of sector service providers, students, farmers, and all and breeders who are involved in the use and utilization of the technologies, reproductive technologies. Our partners mainly are farmers, who are our major partners. We have AI service providers. We have the breeders, that is livestock breeders, who deal in a number of species of animals, that is like goat breeders, like cattle breeders. All those are collaborators. The government agencies we collaborate with include the Kenya Dairy Board, because they use their main product is milk, which mainly focus because we have breeding bulls for dairy, and KCC, which of course deals in the same, and also the Kenya Veterinary Board, which mainly deals with regulation of the veterinary profession. And here, since we are a certified body, all the staff here, that is the veterinarians working in this institution, inclusive of the technologists, the livestock technicians, are all regulated by the Kenya Veterinary Board. So basically those are the institutions which we collaborate with closely. We work with closely with the International Livestock Research Institute, that's ILRI, mainly in germplasm evaluation and production, so that we do research in terms of new methodologies or technologies which can be suitable for purposes of conservation. Also, we collaborate with universities in that area. I must say that the livestock sector has benefited so much to the trainings we undertake, because when we focus on, say, farmers, we mainly take them through record keeping. We also take them through a bull catalog interpretation, so that I can be able to select the best bulls. And when it comes to students, for example, we have quite a number on one-day training. We have those on internships who are also in our institution. And this has impacted to a very high level, to a level that even the region, Tanzania, Uganda, Zambia, Eritrea, bring their students here, basically for training in laboratory undertaking, so that they can be able to run their own labs in the best way possible. Tale plant, as at the moment, is at design stage, and the foundation stone is now laid, and we expect that when it comes into functionality, it is going to collaborate with this institution and add to cement production and technology use, so that this country can move to the next level. By such a time next year, it will be up and running, because its initial facilities like the laboratory and bull holding facilities will be in place. So we expect by 2017, it will have its first batch of bulls in production. For this time, we have set up satellite liquid nitrogen production plants, which also are going to act as cement storage facilities, so as to be able to ensure that these facilities, the farmer, the AI service provider, has access to these two products, the liquid nitrogen and the cement, for purposes of improving our livestock sector. And also, in addition, we have the goat AI facilities. They are located in Kirinyaga, and mainly as at now, we are using them to produce goat AI semen. And for now, we have also trained goat AI inseminators in this country, and they will make use of the semen now under production. According to the strategic plan, our strategic plan 2013-2017, we are now nearly at 1 million doses being produced at KAGRC. And this in itself has kind of satisfied the local consumption, the farming community. But we intend by this time next year, that is 2016, and by 2017, we shall be at 1.5 million. And at that level then, we shall be able to serve even our neighbors, Uganda, Tanzania, and even Ethiopia. So we have put mechanisms in place to ensure that this is possible within the coming 1 year, because we've modernized our labs, we have had to recruit more bulls, and of course we have also impressed further production in our other farms. Yeah. The thing that we're proud of is that for the past 1 year, we've had our website in place. That is www.kagrc.co.ke. And through this, we have been able to interact with our farming community. We've also been able to do all procurement on that website. So we are able now to be accessed easily internationally and whichever way. So we have more inquiries, and we're interacting with our agencies, the farmers, through that particular website. And this has improved our visibility, and our product sales have now increased. We are happy about it. Yeah. Other milestones which we have achieved is that we've been able to increase our production, semen production, to the level of up to 1 million, which had not been for a long time since the station started. And we have also had to modernize our infrastructure in both at KAGRC, that is, we have done road network, we've modernized our bull semen canopy, semen collection canopy, which has not been there for quite a while. We've also acquired a new liquid nitrogen plant, which now is in production, and we are quite happy about it. And finally, the laboratories. We have now the state-of-the-art equipment, which has enabled us to reach that level of production. And first of all, through our partners, like the World Bank, has supported us to come up with the satellite stations. They supported us to put up 4 nitrogen plants, 1 in KAGRC and 3 outside KAGRC in the regions, that's Meru, Nyahururu, and Eldoret. And as at now, we also are collaborating with Olpejeta in doing our ET, embryo transfer technology, so that we can be able to source our bulls through that technology instead of using our traditional method, which mainly has been from the breeders around the country. So basically, in that partnership with the development partners, we have had to achieve so much. And as at now, even the government has put in more money to ensure that infrastructure for nitrogen production continues. So we expect 2 more plants, which we are already in the procurement stage, to be located in Sotik and Kirinyaga. The main challenge which we had in the brief period is sourcing of our bulls. You know, we had been sourcing our bulls through collaboration with breeders, livestock breeders around the country. But year in, year out, we've utilized these breeders, and we have exhausted the animals, the animal population from which we were sourcing these bulls. And we were fearing that if we continue that way, it would lead to inbreeding. So what we have done to mitigate that is that we've now adopted the embryo transfer technology, and in collaboration with ET practitioners within the country and from South Africa, we're now going to have our source of bulls being through the embryo transfer, which is going to be done in Olpejeta. And from there, we shall get the bulls to our station, and the female calves which will be born, we intend to have them on our nuclear farms so that we develop them as a source of our bulls in the future. And the other challenge we had is the source of fodder. We have kind of reached maximum use of the farmlands we have for the sender, and so our fodder production was at 50% on farms. That is, we're producing about 20,000 bales of fodder for our bulls, but the requirement is 50,000. So what we've done is that we have, through government initiative, they have given us now more land at Ngong Veterinary Farm and also Machakos Veterinary Farm. And through this, we're going to have another 200 acres for fodder production. And this will lead to adequate fodder production for our bull maintenance at the station. Staff capacities have also been an issue, and this we're doing with the assistance of the board. We are recruiting new staff, those that we require to beef up our structure staff establishment. And also we have now focused on training so that we up the capacities of our staff in the station. Our future plans, mainly we are focusing on 2 areas. Put up a new state-of-the-art laboratory to respond to the need for the technologies, the technologies that are reproductive technologies in place, so that we be able to, one, produce enough semen for purposes of serving the farmer, and two, to have an arm of germplasm conservation, so that we have a gene bank for purposes of conserving our animal resource. We also intend to look into staff welfare. Our staff, as at now, they are housed around the institution, the KAGRC institution, and the housing that was put up during the colonial days is now dilapidated, and we have a plan that, given funds, which we are also now requesting from our collaborators, we shall be able to put up new facilities for them to house them so that they get motivated. And of course, finally, sustainable production of fodder. We intend to have more land that belongs to KAGRC so that we be able to produce enough fodder for utilization of our bulls. Yes. So far, we are happy because as it is today, it's the government which has put in funds for purposes of transforming this institution. You recall that AI institutions in 1966, that is when the Kenya National Artificial Insemination Service was put in place. And as at that time, this facility was given a major injection, and that's when the labs were put up, the administration block and all that, bulls, increased bulls for purpose of semen production were put in place. Over time, that was run down. And as at now, what we have put in is a transformative agenda to have a new image of what KAGRC is to respond to the needs of Vision 2030, the livestock sector as per the 21st century requirements. Because the farmers now have adopted new technologies and they would like very high productivity. So we can't sit back and say the 50-year-old initiative is enough. It has done its best. Now, that is why we're putting in new laboratories, new agenda, so that we be able to adopt new technologies to respond to the need as at now. Electronic chip, for one, it has three agenda. The first one is a disease management tool, disease control tool, to be able, it's a radio identification, a radio frequency identification device. So this device, once put into the animal, it can be traced through a reader. So with this then, if animal moves from one point to another for purposes of sale, for purposes of grazing, pasture, for purposes of any other purpose, it can be traced as to the source. So traceability for disease purposes is achieved. And two, traceability for purposes of productivity. This is in dairy. Dairy, we would like to identify animals, high-producing animals, so that we are able at any one time that this is a high-producing animal. It produces the best. If we are selling, say, to outside country, that chip goes with the same. So it is able to be traced to be as a Kenyan animal of genetic makeup traced to Kenya. And three, security in terms of areas where cattle rustling takes place. These animals, when they are rustled from one point to another, you can, through this RFID technology, be able to trace and say this animal belongs to such a farmer in such a place. Yeah, so it achieved 3 levels. 1 year on, for one, my experience is that I've managed to transform staff attitudes. They were fixed. They were resistant to change. But for now, we are talking the same language. They are ready to change over, and they see the way where we are going. They are now sharing the dream which I had when I came in. So what I would tell you I have managed to do is that we are now ready to take off on the new transformative agenda as KAGRC and as KAGRC staff and even our stakeholders. So that is one thing which wholesomely, I'm confidently saying, we are now harmonized as staff in management, as board of directors who have now come in as new, and as stakeholders in the breeding industry. We are all sharing the same. And that is why, through the infrastructure development, through the outlying substations, the Kitale substation, the got AI in Kirinyaga, and all those other dreams we have, we now sharing them, and the government is ready to now support us. Even the outside partners, like other breeding societies around the world, they are now admiring to come through KAGRC so as to be able to address African livestock productivity agenda. So that in 1 year, I feel that's what we have achieved. So we are ready to move in that direction together. My message to the farmers and stakeholders in general in the livestock sector is that let's collaborate. Let's collaborate to be able to achieve the modernizing of our livestock sector for the betterment of our society, because we have Vision 2030. Its agenda is livestock productivity. The Jubilee Manifesto talks of revamping the dairy sector. So let's collaborate and achieve all this as our dream and as a country.